Welcome to the show. I'm Michael Buckets,
I'm Old King Cole.
I'm T.
and this is Ball Talk. All right, so jumping into a new episode. We're in the All-Star break right now, so there's not a lot of games going on at this very moment, but had a pretty crazy week leading up into the All-Star. A lot of like 40 pieces, a couple 50 pieces, a lot of overtime. Teams just really showing out before the All-Star break. So yeah, we're gonna get into some of those.
Yeah, I definitely think it's getting into that part of the season where you're starting to see the teams that have that good chemistry, like truly, and have that good flow are actually starting to get into the flow, and those really good teams are starting to really stick out, like the Thunder and the Nuggets, even, and other teams that we'll talk about today are really starting to just look super good and make some big moves.
Yeah, kind of just to clear the room. Luka debuted this week. He played with the Lakers twice. LeBron was there both times. They played the Jazz both times. They won the first one. They lost the second one. I noticed, which a lot of people kind of predicted, but it was like they started together, and then it was like LeBron's on the court, then Luka's on the court, then LeBron's on the court. They kind of split that. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that going into the rest of the season? Is that scary or is that manageable?
So I've watched both of the Lakers games, and obviously we all want to see Luka just to see how that looks with LeBron. Before they were both on the same team, when the trade first happened, I was thinking to myself, how does LeBron kind of become that number two option? Because
Yeah, we've never seen him step
we've
down.
never ever seen LeBron become number two or play fiddle to anybody. So I was wondering, like, how is this going to work? So that first game when Luka played, he was on a minute restriction. I think he played maybe like 20 minutes. So
Yeah,
we
I think
didn't
he
see
played like
him.
23 minutes
Yeah.
total.
So it was a blowout, which was dope. But the way that they play off each other, bro, it's
I was gonna say
scary.
the same thing, man.
You see, like
Like,
the one in that first game where
scary,
Luca's face lit up because he saw LeBron open, and he's like, "Oh my
bro.
gosh!" Also,
It was scary.
Jackson Hayes was getting all those lob
Yep,
passes, and
bro.
I was about to
That
say
looks
about Jackson
crazy.
Hayes, that guy needs to get a little bit more ready for them Luca lobs. You can tell
Yeah,
sometimes when he's running down to
yeah.
the paint that he's not ready because Luca's so like tricky with it that he even tricks his
because he
teammates and
yeah he doesn't
Jackson
want
don't
the other
even
team to know.
yeah,
Yeah,
Bro.
Jackson don't even know the pass is coming and he's like jumping in the air. You see him like late grabbing that ball and like
He
barely
like,
getting it in. Yeah, on some lame
yeah,
shit.
bro.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it'll
I like
definitely
that a lot.
work. Yeah.
It
I think
looks
it's so
so
scary.
nice.
but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would like to see more of them playing off of each other, but I don't think we're going to get that unless it's the starting minutes or the final minutes. Just kind of, especially because you don't want either of them to overwork themselves in both of their unique
Yeah,
conditions where they kind of want
yeah.
to rest their bodies more.
Get ready for
But
that playoff stretch.
yeah, I think that's when it'll be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no
don't
doubt.
know. Yeah. I'm thinking in a 7 game series, I don't know if anybody would want to play that team or match up against that squad.
Yeah.
No, because you're thinking about like one of the guys that's already been proven to be just like one of the best of all time and one of the clutchest of all time in LeBron. And then you got this guy that's coming up who is still only 25, who probably is the most clutch guy in the league right now. Like he gets in that final 30 seconds and he's smiling. Like,
Bro,
dude is
Right.
cheesing ear to ear. He's
Never
pumped
feels
for that.
pressure
Right.
ever.
Like,
never,
so yeah,
never.
it's definitely gonna be quite interesting to see how they look in a 7 game series together, and especially in like a
Yeah.
fourth quarter when the game slows down a lot, and it's just a whole different atmosphere come playoff time. I think it's gonna be scary hours for the West.
Yeah. I would also keep in mind that Luka still feels betrayed from what just went down.
Oh
And if
yeah,
you
for
don't think
sure.
that's in the back of his mind as they enter this last stretch of the season, hey man, you got another thing coming. I
Yeah.
think Luka's about to like once you get off the minute restrictions, I think it's about to be very scary, gentlemen.
No doubt. I agree with
I'd have
that.
to agree. On a similar note, the Warriors look scary with their new addition. Um, yeah, what do you guys think about that team?
I think that one's good. I don't think I'm as scared of them as the Lakers, not to compare, but I guess just piggybacking right off of that conversation that we just had, I don't think I'm as worried about the Warriors as I am the Lakers, but they've definitely made a jump forward. Like, whereas this was like a huge what if, because I think everybody in the Jimmy sweepstakes was, what if he doesn't want to play
Yeah,
with us? What if he doesn't work in our system? Just all the what ifs. But it ultimately worked out for the Warriors, and they're actually playing really well off of each other, despite, Jimmy might not get 20 a certain game, but he's still getting 17, 6 and 7 or something like that with a couple steals, and playing really important basketball for a team that's actually looking for a championship once again. So I think it's really good for the Warriors and for Jimmy. I just don't think I see them as a true contender, truly. Myself.
yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I just off the games that I've watched, and keep in mind, it's only been 2 games, so we still got a lot to see. We got a lot to just experience, just to see this team, how that bench unit would look without Jimmy or the starters on the floor. I think that they look different and different from what we've seen, honestly, since they won that championship a couple years ago.
No
I
doubt.
kind of like it. I think that they're confident for a reason. I think that they know that they got a nice little addition to that team. Not a nice little addition, a nice huge addition
Yeah,
to that
true that.
team.
Yeah, there you go.
And Draymond Green said it himself, like he believes that that team will win the championship in 2025. I think if he believes that, he must seen something that's like, whoa,
I
this
mean,
team is nuts.
yeah, I mean, he's been on some of the best teams in recent
Yeah,
history, so
man. I will say though, I'm scared for the bench unit because they did give up, they gave up Wiggins, they gave up I forgot who else they gave up, but Wiggins alone was like that piece you needed that you can start him if you want, but you don't have to start Wiggins. You can have him in rotation with that second unit or even the third with Jimmy maybe coming off that little, at the end of the second quarter
I
where you
totally
have
hear
like
you.
a Jimmy, you might put Curry out there, you might leave Draymond on the bench, whatever that looks like. I'm
Mhm.
just scared for those moments when it's like end of a second quarter or end of a third quarter or top of a fourth quarter when you need that second unit to really come to play against competitive teams.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that take, especially because I think with it being a good couple years removed from the Warriors' last championship run, that I think a lot of people forget the big vital piece that Andrew Wiggins actually was to that championship run, despite him having kind of a few not so amazing years since then. I think a lot of people
Yeah,
forget that, you know what I mean? A player like that on a team like the
yeah.
Warriors can help push you all the way to a championship and to winning
No,
the
seriously.
championship, actually.
Yep.
So I think, yeah, I hear you. Losing out on so many players on the second unit, that's
Who
why
you
I'm
won
like,
with?
I don't know. They feel a little thin when their main three
Yeah.
aren't out.
That's my thing. And I just did some research. They're 28 and 27 against teams above 500 this year. And I just don't know if I'm taking that team to win a championship or make a run. I can see like maybe if they flip the switch and just show us something we've never seen, maybe a first round team, maybe going to the second round, but it's very competitive, man. I just don't know like where they would be in that playoff race. And
Yeah,
like,
especially
you want
looking
to
at the
play
West.
OKC?
Yeah, it's just like such a
Yeah.
crazy race out there. I mean, you're looking at, let's see here on the NBA standings. Whoa.
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, what was that?
Bro gave us leadership
Yeah.
position. So yeah, let's take a look at these West standings, man.
So, yeah, so when we're speaking on the Warriors, right now they're currently sitting at the 10th seed, and it's
My God.
like, do
My
we really
bad.
think,
Sorry.
oh no, we're good,
Welcome.
bro, we're good.
Yeah, we was chilling, brother.
We're still just talking about the Warriors and how their new
Yeah.
team is looking. And he mentioned that Draymond had said that they are for sure to win the championship this year.
Yep.
And we're just talking about how like we don't really think it's as likely as many people might say, especially like Draymond, because right now they're sitting in the 10th seed. As much as this addition might help them so much, I just don't see the West changing a whole lot. honestly.
Well,
No.
The
to
team,
reiterate what I said last week, I mean, I know. I think the Warriors could definitely go and win a championship
yeah,
this year.
yeah,
I'm not betting on it
Wow.
because of, like
Respect. Respect.
if I had to put money on it, which I'm not a betting man, I'd probably say the Thunder are coming out of the West. And if I wasn't saying the Thunder, there's a couple more teams I'd say before the Warriors. But I'm not completely convinced that the Warriors are out. I think that they have a very fair chance of winning just because of the playoff experience of Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy, and also the drive of Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
But Draymond saying that is like, bro, you got to back up those words now because that's low key gonna like damage your legacy if you say that so loudly and then you don't go out there and do it.
yeah, for
So
sure.
I don't think I can agree with him that like they're for sure gonna win this year. But I think I'm a little bit more on board with it than you guys are.
Hmm. I would say that Draymond wrote a check that Stephen Curry now has to cash.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him
I
and
mean,
Butler for sure. Like Butler has
And Butler.
probably some of the most. It's something that I actually just thought of. Jimmy Butler might have the highest expectations post trade deadline just because of all of the BS that led up to him
Yeah.
finally being traded. Like it's almost like okay,
Yeah.
now after all of that, you kind of have to show up and show out and really ball because
Yep.
if you don't at this point, I think a lot of teams and a lot of fans are going to look at you a little bit differently and be like, man,
Yeah.
now it's been Minnesota that said there was locker room problems, Philadelphia that said there was locker room problems, Miami that said there's
Not a
locker
good
room problems.
look.
Man, if San
Yeah.
Francisco says there's locker room problems, there's a Jimmy
It is a
Butler
locker room.
problem. Yeah, there's a Jimmy Butler problem going around the NBA.
Yeah,
I
for
love the
real.
guy to death. I mean, since
Yeah.
draft day, being a bull and all that, but
Man.
man,
I will also just come back to the point of Jimmy told the Warriors that he was not signing an extension there.
that is like the
And that
craziest
kind
part of this
of
all.
that could rub a lot of people wrong, but I think that he definitely needs to perform. I think the pressure is on. And he signed a 2-year extension, so he'll be there for sure
Yeah, right
until
after saying that he wasn't
2027.
gonna like.
yeah,
So
which is kind
obviously,
of, I
yeah,
think it was Antoine last week who said that might have been like a plot to kind of be like, all right, well, I'm leaving you guys, the Miami Heat, but you're not getting good stuff back from me. I'm going to
Yeah.
make sure that you get a poor package in return. And so he kind of like would lie to other teams like the Grizzlies or Warriors and be like, no, I don't want to go there. But really, he would go there for a cheaper price.
yeah. You're playing with Steph and Draymond, bro.
And
Yeah,
Like,
and we
come
don't
on.
know those things, but it's a fair theory for sure.
yeah,
No doubt.
it's a business. I think that's one thing we all learn. It's a business.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, more and more as the time goes on, I think it's turning a lot and a lot more into like just strictly business with a lot of this stuff. I mean, you very
Yeah.
rarely see things like the New York Knicks where it's just a bunch of homies from Villanova that are playing together and the
Like,
general management like
so
helped
dope.
them get that, which is really cool to
Yeah.
see that still a little bit, but I just don't think you see that as much anymore these days, really.
Here's
Yeah.
kind of a question that's been looming in my head over the Luka trade is if you were doing the Luka trade from a Nico Harrison standpoint and you're like, this is a business decision, I feel like if you really think that the team's gonna has a better chance at winning now, I would rather be a losing team that the fan base is dedicated to than like I'm gonna go out there and win a championship immediately, but my fan base hates me because I got rid of
Yeah.
Luka. I feel like they're definitely going to lose more money than they're going to make off of this trade for sure. Even if they are in more of a win now situation, which is definitely debatable if that's even true.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think no matter what happens with the Mavericks could go on and be a dark horse and win a championship this year, and I still
That'll
think they
be
lost.
nuts.
I still would say that they lost the Luka Doncic trade because they traded away their 25-year-old rising budding star that still could
Mhm.
potentially be like in the GOAT conversation one day. Like this dude's 25
Right.
years old and has been nothing but amazing since the day he started. Like the only reason he's not truly in top 3 MVP conversations is because this dude's been averaging like a 25-point triple double his whole entire career, and we're just used
Oh
to it.
my God.
We're just
Yeah.
used to it, so we're like, that's just normal Luka. Like at this point, Luka has to score like 40 a game to win MVP. Like,
Mhm.
That's valid. Yeah. And it's just, even if they do be like get a dark horse championship this year, none of the fans are going to be able to embrace that. They're all going to be like, asterisk, Luka isn't here.
Asterisk, the year you traded for AD.
Right. It's like nobody, even the fans won't really care about that. And that I feel like is a
Yeah.
business decision at the end of the day.
No doubt.
So if y'all saw, which I'm pretty sure you did, Luka was eligible next season, well, this summer for I think 345 million. And obviously he's gonna get the super max wherever he goes. But since he was traded, now he could sign a max of like 240 million. So if you want to look at it from a business standpoint, the Mavs did save $100 million in just giving it to Luka, their superstar. But I think I would have given every single penny in the world to this kid who just got first team All NBA 5 seasons in a row.
Dog, I would have told Jerry Jones to sell the Cowboys, give me all the money for it, and then we would have gave that just to Luka, just to
Like,
keep him
bro,
there.
bro,
I
it's
also feel
Luka
like
Doncic.
that 100 mil, back to my other point, like that 100 mil is going to be there if you keep Luka, like you're going to make that money off. I was going to
Bro,
buy Mavs tickets,
Yeah,
I
it's
had
so
been like, hey, if
annoying.
we
yeah,
ever go to Texas, we got to stop in Dallas so I can say Luka play. I'm not interested in buying Dallas Mavericks tickets anymore.
And now we're
So
still
like,
just gonna see Luka play, so we're
right. So
chilling.
like, I feel like they're losing
yeah,
more
bro,
money than they're saving
for
on that
sure.
Supermax contract.
And that's where
Uh,
my head was at. I know Nico
no,
Harrison
yeah, I
got
hear
a
you.
he got a nice relationship with Nike, and like I don't know if that has anything to do with trading Luka, but I just think it's something more than just like
I mean,
we
AD's
want
a
to get.
Nike athlete, right?
He is, and he got a relationship with AD. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Nico Harrison is a
There's also
guy
like
of
the
I mean, AD's been a big promoter of Nike since the very first day that he was on the scene, just being a big man with the brow, the unique
Mhm.
look, and all that. I mean,
Yeah,
bro is
that's
supposed
funny.
to low key be way better than he is. I mean, I'm not saying AD's bad by whatever means, but
No,
like AD was supposed to be like the best in the
yeah.
league at one day.
Look at his Kentucky highlights. Oh
Bro,
my God.
yes,
I
bro.
think he still got the block record right now.
even his Pelican highlights, he was looking like he was gonna be
Yeah,
I was gonna
like
say, dude, them
best in
early
the league, like
Pelicans
you
days,
said.
like that game winner that he was hitting, like,
Mhm.
yeah.
oh my god, he was crazy.
But there's
Chicago's
also the
high.
conspiracy that it's like, well, the best player in the league's on the Lakers, the viewership will go up, which who knows? Who knows? But
I
uh,
think that's exactly what it is. If you know the Lakers, you know that they have always had a golden boy, decades and decades of it, since
right.
Magic, Shaq, Kobe, Kobe all the way to the 2010s, LeBron, and
And Lakers
now
fans never
Luka.
really embraced LeBron either. Um,
Yeah,
so I
there
feel
was a
like they've
lot of
kind of
hate.
been like there hasn't been that much love as they had for Kobe since Kobe. So it's been kind of like a stagnant era in LA, even though they do have LeBron and Anthony Davis. I've not when I talk to actual Lakers fans, I don't see them embracing that duo as much as the rest of the NBA fans do.
Yeah, I hear you. I feel like they never even truly gave him like even the littlest bit. Like I hear you. They definitely did not
Yeah,
welcome him in with open arms whatsoever. They were like, "Dang, we got LeBron." Like, we were
Yeah.
just like fighting against LeBron, cheering for
it
Kobe
was
for
so
so
much.
many years, and now we gotta accept him in with open arms. And then on top of that, like I don't think they really gave him any respect whatsoever until he finally won that championship. And even that, I mean, a lot of people want to put an asterisk. I personally think it was a really hard one. I think it was a real one and whatnot, but
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That
Yeah, I mean, you know my take. I personally think that was harder than a normal
that's why I'm
championship
like, yeah,
because
you got to be away from
you don't go
home.
home at the end of the day,
You know what
like
I mean?
you're constantly 24/7 thinking about the NBA finals and the playoffs.
yeah.
That's all you care about,
Like
and
Jimmy
that's the
literally
reason.
started up a coffee barista thing just to like
Hmm.
have fun because like bro is probably going a little
Right.
crazy. Like
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For
And that's
sure.
why, in my opinion, the Lakers and the Heat ended up in the finals that year because I feel like LeBron and Jimmy Butler are the two hardest working players in the league. So they were the ones that were able to stay with it that whole three,
Hmm.
4 months and be consistent and be like, this is what
Yeah,
I'm focused on and I'm focused on winning. And
yeah.
yeah, I
and that's
really,
also when we saw the best version of AD too because AD was just locked in with LeBron right
Yo,
there every single
AD
day.
was historic,
AD,
bro.
yeah, was the AD we were supposed to get this whole
Yeah,
entire time during the bubble. Like that was nice.
it's yeah,
and
it's kind of
also
sad. Yeah,
people ignore the fact that before they came up with the bubble and like the 8 game season to end the regular season, when they postponed the NBA, the day they postponed it, the Lakers were the best team in the league, and we thought they were going to win the championship
for
that year,
sure.
anyways. And people
Yeah,
ignore that, like the bubble saved
for
them, but
sure.
really they were already top of the league and they were already the biggest threat.
Honestly, that's true. People forget that. It sucks that a lot of players didn't even play in a bubble, like just the superstars, but a lot of superstars were made in a bubble.
That's true,
That's if y'all don't remember, the Suns were like
bro.
2 games
Devin
That's
away.
Booker,
exactly what I was about to talk
The
like
about, bro. They went
Suns,
8-0 and didn't make it.
Devin
yo,
Booker's 8-0 run is one of the greatest things that we've seen.
that shit was
Um,
beautiful, bro.
That was
Like
like
just from a
nice.
the
fan perspective, that
it
was
was like
beautiful.
statistically impossible for them to make the playoffs that year.
Yeah, which sucked, but they were
Yeah, it
locked,
did.
bro. They were
They were.
locked.
He was
They
still
were.
trying his ass off to
Yeah,
get
bro. They
his
did
way in.
everything they could. Like,
Yeah,
Everything.
and then hey,
that's
they
what.
ended up in the
Yeah,
finals the next year after that. So got to give them
yeah.
extra credit.
That's dope. That's dope.
Right.
That was dope.
But yeah, some other notable games. Did you guys kind of talk about the Steph Dame battle or no?
No.
We did not. We were
Yeah,
chatting about the Warriors, but
yeah.
not
So
the.
more on the
Yeah,
Warriors. They played the Bucks. No Giannis, so I didn't have high expectations. But I love the Warriors too, so I wanted to watch
yeah,
that game. And it was really a Dame Steph battle. That was super fun to watch them go back and forth. They had super similar stats. I know they both scored 38. Um, I don't know the other stats. They both got a couple boards and a couple of rebounds in under 10, but it was dope. I really enjoyed watching it. And then, of course, the Warriors pulled away in the end, which I wasn't mad about because I like the Warriors.
yeah.
I don't mind seeing them win that much.
I thought the
Um,
Bucks were gonna win.
bro, I honestly thought so too. Kuzma fits with them a lot better than people expected. And I think that he also wants to prove that he's a good player. He's just been in Washington. So
Yeah, I think you
that's been
definitely
fun to
see like a
watch.
couple moments when he's out there and he's still like feeling like he might be the number one option just because he's out there with like
Hmm.
the second unit
Right.
and he kind of does something a little goofy, but then you see him like instantly be like, oh shit, no, I'm somewhere else now. Like I'm in a system, like I gotta be working
Yeah.
this, and then you see him lock in
Which
and like
Giannis has been
Hmm.
resting, so it's been cool that he's kind of gotten to transition into that more of like being the number two after Dame, and then once Giannis comes back, he can further transition to number three, but still be
Yeah,
able to kind of generate points off of him the way we want to, and him fit into that system.
no doubt.
I did not know that with the Clippers trade and the Heat trade that they got Kevin Porter Jr.
Yep.
Like it was like
Yeah,
a 5 team trade. I did not know that.
yeah,
That's
that
a
was
guy
kind
to
of a
keep a
low key
lookout on.
sleeper trade,
Yeah,
just because we gave up Marjan boot camp, and
yeah,
he never played a lot of minutes for us, so it's kind of like, oh, KPJ is not going to play a lot of minutes for us either, but he's played every game and he's been impactful. So that's been kind of cool. Like this new look Bucks is kind of meshing together really well
yeah.
for just being together for like a week or so.
Yeah, I like this new Bucks team a lot. I will say, as a Bucks hater, this is the kind of like the best I've seen them since that Middleton championship kind of core that they had before they kind of broke it up. This
Yeah.
might be the best I've seen the Bucks in a couple years. And the record might not like look as as good as other teams, but I think this Bucks team can make a push. I think they can
Yeah.
make a nice push.
I agree. I
One
think
thing
they
I've
have.
noticed,
Oh, I was just saying that I think I've really noticed that their role players are really playing so well this year. Like
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Bobby is on like, I mean, he's
Hmm.
always on another level, but man, yeah, like he's even taking it up
Yeah.
another notch. Seeing Brooke Lopez go down a little bit, and then you see
Yep.
guys like Gary Trent playing some of the best minutes that he's played in his NBA
Yep.
career so far with the
Mhm.
Bucks, and like you were saying, Kevin Porter Jr.'s been playing good minutes for you guys so far. Kyle Kuzma's starting to get into the system a little bit. You guys are starting to actually learn how to work around Brooke Lopez being the slowest player in the NBA, and he actually kind of works out there a little bit sometimes now. And
Yeah,
I think it's gonna work out for you guys definitely come playoff time. Like he was saying that it might not look that great on the standings sheet right now, or even come the end of the year because you guys are gonna be working stuff out, but if I'm anybody on the East, I'm not gonna want to play the Bucks in a 7 game series. I mean,
100%.
you got Dame
yeah,
Lillard
and
come fourth quarter, Giannis to roast you the whole entire time, and Kyle Kuzma to help
Mhm.
out in the middle, and Bobby Port. Like that's a squad for real.
Yeah.
yeah, and I was gonna say for like the past half decade, the Bucks have been really focused on winning and being the number one seed come the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not really focusing on that right now. And I noticed that they'll like choose to rest players and kind of maybe lose a game that's not important because I think it's because Giannis hasn't played in the playoffs in 2 years, and they're like, well, maybe we don't
Healthy,
need to
yeah.
focus on the regular season so much. Maybe we can be the 5th or the 6th seed and still make a playoff run. I mean, Jimmy Butler just did that from the play-in,
I think that did a
swept us
lot
at
for
the number
people.
one
Yeah.
seed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and yeah, so I think that the Bucks are just kind of taking a new perspective on it. And even besides the players, their staff's changed a lot. So it is completely different from the 2021 Bucks, besides
Yeah.
really Giannis. I mean, like Brooke, Bobby, and Pat are still there, but Brooke and Pat don't really have roles on the team anymore. So it's really just Giannis and Bobby. And this is a new look Bobby, too, like you said. So it's a completely new team. And I mean, as a Bucks fan, I knew we'd look different in the future, that now being the future. But
Mhm.
it's cool to see us still look like
Yeah.
contenders rather than look like a rebuilding team that Giannis needs to be freed from.
Yeah. And if we want to just bring it back to the beginning of the season, which, every team could look bad or, just look like still trying to figure stuff out. The Bucks looked pretty horrible just that first
Like
stretch of the season.
terrible.
They
Yeah.
look pretty horrible. To see
And
them now with
honestly,
like 29 wins, that's real cool.
I'm gonna blame that on Damian Lillard not prioritizing basketball in the offseason too. Because he even
Yeah.
admitted, he's like, yeah, I did not do a lot of training this offseason. Me and Giannis
Yeah.
didn't train, we didn't meet up one
Yeah.
time all
I saw
summer.
that.
So they like were just, yeah, they had kind of a shitty offseason
Yeah.
as a team. And I think that was really headed by Dame not really caring. And
Yeah.
also Giannis being at
Yeah.
the Olympics. So, but yeah, it was just the beginning. They
Yep.
figured that shit out really quick. And but we still see the effects of that in the standings. So
Yes, sir.
Moving on from that,
yeah.
did you guys want to talk about the Knicks games from this past week?
Yeah, hit those.
Oh.
Yeah, so on the 11th, the Knicks played the Pacers. They won 128 to 115, where Karl Anthony Towns had 40 points, 12 boards, and 3 steals, where Josh Hart also had
Sheesh.
30 points, 10 boards, and 2 steals.
Nice.
And then the following night, the Knicks played the Hawks, and that game was a lot more interesting than that first night. It went into OT. I mean, every time that Trey's in Madison Square Garden, it's Hollywood for real. Like Trey in Madison Square Garden is Hollywood. So that one went into OT. The Knicks end up squeezing by 149 to 148. The Hawks had 6 guys in double digits that game. Trey Young with 38 points and 19 assists, but
Whoa.
now that stat line might look good, but one number that I also saw that I wasn't too happy about, 8 turnovers. The Hawks
That's a
need
lot.
another main ball handler. That is something that they need. And I know it's past the trade deadline, but I think it's pretty clear and evident that Trey Young has the ball in his hands almost a little too much at this point in the offense.
Yeah.
But other good performances throughout for the Hawks. Dyson Daniels with 23 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, and 4 steals out there doing work. Okongwu with 21 points, 14 boards, 5 assists, and 2 steals, and 3 blocks, so doing work out there himself.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Knicks out there, they also had 6 guys in double digits, but their main 2 stars were going crazy. Karl Anthony Towns with 44 points, back-to-back 40 balls for him, 10 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, and also 7 turnovers for him. So he be getting out there and being a little, he get a little loose. Yeah, he get a little crazy out there with the Knicks, but you can tell he's having fun.
Much.
Yeah, for real. But Brunson also out there had a crazy performance. 36 points, 3 boards, 8 assists, only 3 turnovers for him. Both of their top guys combining for 80 points. What do you guys think about the Knicks having back-to-back dubs with Towns going crazy? I mean, it's looking good for them.
Love to see it. I mean,
yeah.
Love to see it for sure. I'm still, and I'll reiterate this throughout the whole season, I'm still so happy for Cat that he's able to turn like a really sad trade into something really good and be in some people's top 5 MVP conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's been really cool. Kind of to spin off of it though, I was looking at all the box scores this week. Do you guys feel like they need to change the rules so people stop scoring so much?
Because what do you mean exactly?
I mean, there's a 40 piece like every day recently.
That's just how the NBA is nowadays. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, do they need to fix that and kind of figure something out? because people love stats and people love to see high numbers, and that's kind of the reason that we've gotten here. But for the sake of the game, they need to fix it so that it's a little bit harder to score.
Are you saying less free throws?
I don't even know
Or
what I'm saying, man.
I'm
Just some
honestly
sort of
yeah,
I'm against any
because
sort
I'm
of
with
rule
you.
change. Honestly, personally, I'm gonna be on the opposite side just because I
I'm not on the
personally
side either. I'm just bringing up a point.
no, yeah, I personally just think it's the players just getting better, and especially with the
Yeah,
increase of the three ball you see, I mean, it's just so easy for guys to score 40 if they're going to be hitting
yeah,
from 30, 40 feet out every
Yeah.
single damn night. I mean, what are we going to do about that? And I don't
yeah.
think I agree with you guys that the fouls are a bit
The foul
much.
baiting.
Yeah, but I think within the last 365 since like maybe halfway through the season last year, it seems like it's toned down a little bit. Like not as much
True.
of like
Very
when we
true.
were seeing Joel Embiid flop literally every single time he was going up for the shot and we were like all in the group chat like, "Man, this is a 7-footer playing like
Yeah.
he's LaMelo Ball out there or something like foul baiting in the
Yeah.
post, flopping at every
100%.
time he gets contact." So
100%.
I don't think it's that bad to where we have to do anything, but I agree with you that it is. I mean, I was also looking at the box scores and just like, all right, dude, like, what performances do
I
I
mean,
pick to talk about
yeah, it
here?
starts to take away at some point, you know? It's like
Yeah.
when somebody scores 30 points, we don't even talk about it, you know? We're just like, oh, dang, nobody even scored 30 points in this game.
For sure,
Yeah.
40s become the new 30 and 50s become the new like it just keeps going down, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. And yeah,
It's
I
kind
don't
of
think I
scary.
personally like it or dislike it. I just have noticed, and I have a theory that's probably accurate, that a lot of people, specifically older generations, will look at the box scores and see that people are scoring 40 every night and be like, yeah, I do not care about the NBA.
I could hear that, yeah, for sure, especially when you come from an old head perspective, but that's just like
Yeah.
that's just the wrong way of looking at the game. You got to realize that the game
Yeah,
is ever
for sure.
evolving, and like in 20
Yep.
years, it's going to be people are scoring 50 all the time, and we're going to be having to just get used
Yeah.
to that because they're
And
going
you
to
also
figure
think
something
about
out.
that Michael Jordan highlight where he like does the like super athletic reverse layup, that's super famous highlight. That you
Yeah,
see that every day,
Yeah.
you know,
My
from
my main
whoever the
thing
two guard
is
on the team is.
my
And
main
that's just
thing is
evolution.
that's for real though.
yeah.
Yeah, it is
I
just like
literally think
nowadays.
that I think everyone got better at basketball, and I think we can't be mad at that. I think the
For
older
sure.
people kind of look at it and be like, they kind of criticize it. They hate on the new game because the skill level has rose to a position that we've never seen. It's like this is the best basketball we've ever seen in our life in the NBA's lifetime. Now I'm looking at this year though. We only got three scorers that's averaging 30. I think a year or two ago, like you were saying, like maybe it was 5 to 6 people like almost averaging 30. And that tells you like the skill gap, is at the peak right now. Like people on the bench are scoring 25 points per game. And like obviously not everyone, but I think
Yeah.
that this is just the best basketball we've ever seen in our lives. Like
No
this
doubt.
is golden age of basketball. I'm
Yeah, I mean, we
scared for
got
what it
guys
will
like
look
you
like in
said,
10
like
years.
bench players that are scoring 25. We got Norman Powell, who's like a bench player his whole entire career, who damn near should have been an all-star this year. Like,
For sure.
you know what I mean?
For
Like,
sure.
so that's definitely some
Yeah.
Yeah.
craziness just right there.
And kind
Yeah.
of
Kind
like
of hard to
what you
hate.
had said, the three ball really does change the game. And we know this, and it's like super
Yeah.
true. But I was thinking specifically about like when Shaq was dominating the league, 3-point ball was kind of a thing. But that when Shaq was dominating the league, Curry was developing his game. And he was watching Shaq and being like, how can I completely avoid that person and never have contact with them? It completely changed the game of basketball because
Yeah,
now you
for real.
do have a role as a point guard that's the Steph Curry 3-point ball role where you never
Yep.
have to go in the paint. You never have to worry about the center who is blocking you or this. You never even have to get close to him because you're launching those three balls. So now you need people like Dyson Daniels, Drew Holiday, or Marcus Smart to play like more of a Gary Payton type role, to be a
Hmm.
defender on those people and play perimeter defense. And it's just the spacing is so different that, yeah, like you said, it's like it's inevitable that players are going to score a lot just because there's so many ways to score, and the evolution of the human body. We can do a lot of players in the league can do what Michael Jordan did. Sorry if that's
Yeah.
a hot take, but it's true, you
Yeah.
know?
Probably all of them.
And
And like,
Yeah.
and
not
another
to take
great
away from Michael Jordan, he was just ahead of his time and he paved the way for the athletic league that we live in
Yeah.
today.
No doubt. And another great point you made to bring up is the spacing. That's I think another huge point of like why 40 points like performances are almost so common because
Yeah.
like you said, Shaq, the main center that every center was molding their game around, was an inside the paint guy. It wasn't until
Right.
like Dirk and even other guys that people were like taking shots as a big man. And nowadays, you see almost every big man in the league has
You
at
have to.
least some form of a mid
You see
range
big
to
mans
a
go stand beyond the arc
right.
during
Even
the
if they
Right.
play
don't
and
have a
wait out
jumper,
there.
they're just
Man,
sitting in the corner. Yeah.
Like, and that's just
So
that
it's
new
so
form of
weird to
spacing.
me.
right, so then you got a guy like Carl Anthony Towns, who's arguably, not even arguably, he just is statistically the best big man shooter ever. And he
For
also
sure.
can get inside the paint and still make shots inside. So it's almost like easy work to get a 40 piece for a guy like that, or for say a guy like Victor Wembanyama when he fully gets studded out. I think that guy's gonna be damn near averaging 40 one day in the NBA. Like he's gonna
Yeah.
be on some Wilt level shit if we see his full potential for real.
Right. And
I
it's the
think
same with Chet or
Wemby,
like any
yeah.
other body type. You see a lot of young centers with that like Carl Anthony Towns archetype where they're a shooting, dunking big man. And it's just, yeah, bro. I mean, they would have gotten crushed in the 90s, but that's just, it's a completely different sport almost.
No, yeah, put Cat up on Shaq. Shaq's literally putting him in the dirt.
Bruh.
Yeah, it ain't gonna look good for Cat.
Somebody called an
Yeah, you knew the
ambulance.
highlight I was thinking of. He's gonna push him. It's gonna be Cat getting up and throwing that ball at
He
him.
gonna be catnip.
Call that
No,
boy
seriously.
catnip.
Bro, one thing I was thinking about is rebounding. These new bigs don't rebound. Don't get me wrong, our elite bigs, the top three bigs, maybe even top five, they're gonna get those boards because obviously they play more like the new style of like shooting and fucking banging down low.
Right.
So like when I look at Jokic, Jokic averages freaking like 12 rebounds a game. And like I think when you look at Cat, who's also getting boards, I think they low key gonna make the NBA kind of revert back to that modern style of like, let's get down in that paint and bang, bro.
I
I look
hear
at
you.
Jaren Jackson and he confuses me because he stands in a corner more times than he will get an assist or a freaking rebound. And like that's cool, but I just think those Jaren Jackson Juniors, those players who just sit in a corner and shoot when they're 7 feet and don't go down there and bang. I think those are the players who low-key gonna take a hit in terms of like greatness, legacy, in terms of usage, in terms of if we
For
want to say
sure.
stats, even if we want to say wins. Well, the Grizzlies winning, so I can't really say that Jaren Jackson is a whatever. But I think that when we look at the best teams, you have to have a big who's going to bang down low, but also can shoot. You can't just be a one-dimensional big in 2025. And Giannis is an example of the most dominant player in the freaking world. So I'm looking at him and comparing him to like, just those B-level all-stars like a Jaren Jackson or like I won't say Wemby because Wemby is on his own planet, but like a
Yeah.
Laurie Markkinen or
It's a good
No,
like
but
one.
it's
a
really
That's a
like
really
dudes
good one,
trying to be
actually,
Wemby
Lori.
before
yeah,
Wemby was even
like
a
a
thing.
Laurie
Like,
Markkinen.
and I like that you brought up Giannis too, because Giannis is a fair example of his legacy could have turned into like he just couldn't shoot, but he decided to stop shooting and do what he's good at, and that's gonna in turn affect his stats, the win percentage, and everything. And you're gonna look
Mhm.
back and see him as more dominant when, yeah, it might be more fun to stand in the corner and shoot threes, but you really got to do what you can with the body that God's given you because that's
Like,
how you're
bro,
gonna, that's your role. And if yeah, I don't know Jaren Jackson Jr., but if he doesn't want to fulfill that role, then he's not gonna get the legacy that he wants. He's not gonna get the stats. They're not gonna get the wins. And like you said, more times he's standing in the corner, and this could be for anybody that's doing this, than he is getting assists or rebounds, and that's missing out on assists and rebounds that could win the game.
I just think it's hard for you to be a 6'10", big man on your team and only average 6 rebounds.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely like all the points you guys made, and I definitely think that there'll be a year here coming up soon, like you had said to you, that one of these years, every team is going to look for one of those traditional bang in the post type of guys, just get it down low type of guys, because we always kind of see that every couple of years. Like Rudy Gobert will win Defensive Player of the Year, have a really great
Yeah.
year, and then every team's looking for a Gobert. Or
Yep.
Kristaps will look really good in the finals with the Celtics, and now everybody's looking for a paint
Yep.
dominant guy that can also shoot
Yo,
the ball. Like,
this, yeah.
you know what I mean? So, I mean, it'll happen. Somebody will do crazy things for a team and make it cool to be down in the paint again, and everybody's gonna love it. I mean, even
Yeah,
even
and the
Wemby. I
more we
mean,
drift away from it, the more it's going to be missing. Like the more
That's
like
my
the
thing.
less traditional centers there are, the more it's going to be like, hey, if we had a traditional center, we'd be better than all the teams that don't.
Yeah,
it'd be
I
that
think
one missing
Anthony
link.
Davis is the prime new center.
Dude,
Anthony
he could
Davis
have
is like the
been,
prime.
man.
Yeah, no, he could have been like probably the
Yeah,
best player in the world
he's
if he
power
didn't play
forward.
second fiddle to anybody. And that's another thing. He claims that he only wants to be the four, which is
Yeah,
fair.
but that's
Which is
another
fair.
scenario where it's like, do your role, even if it's not your favorite role, do what you're best at so that your team can benefit the most.
Yeah. Like four should be able to average 10 rebounds if you're 7 feet. If you want to be a 7 footer who's a four, rebound, please.
If Russell Westbrook's been averaging 10 rebounds for damn near his whole entire career, buddy, you can average
I
10
just
rebounds. You're damn near a foot taller than everybody on the floor. Like,
all
Yeah.
you
just
have to
reach
do is
up.
reach.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Just put your hands
Just
up.
reach. That's
half
why
half
not
the
to
league
not
can't
to get
even
on
jump that
Jaren
high.
Jackson again. Not to get on Jaren Jackson again, but that's why I'm scared
Bro's
for
gonna
him because
block us.
I don't think Jaren Jackson will ever be better than what he did this year, this All-Star year. And like he's
Really?
averaging like 23, 6, and 2. I just don't see him with a high ceiling. I don't see him elevating that because if you want to be a 23 points is kind of like a, don't get me wrong, you're still top of the league, but like if we're comparing it to the top of the league, 23 points is like a, kind of like C level, B levels type of score. I
Especially in
think that
today's NBA, like what we
this,
were saying with the high
yeah,
offense and whatnot. I hear you.
just off, right. Don't get me wrong, 23 points is, you're one of the best in the world. Don't get me wrong. But
Right.
I just think when you really compare him to people his age, like the Wimby's or even the other big man, I don't see him ever averaging more than 23 or 24. And especially if he doesn't pass the ball well, he's not a facilitator. He's get better at rebounding, and I think that will elevate his game to a whole nother level. And don't get me wrong, he is the best defensive player, probably big, other than Wimby and AD and even Giannis. Like Jaren Jackson's in that combo,
He definitely
but I
is.
just
Yeah.
think like I don't know where his ceiling is, and I'm scared that like he will never like get better at scoring for some weird reason. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like I watch a lot of Grizzlies games, and he just looks like he's a corner stander and a shooter whenever like Ja drives and kicks. You know what I mean? I just don't know if that equals like where the league is going with bigs who can shoot. Because he's not that Wimby archetype who can like dribble, get to the spot in the paint, and shoot. Like, I don't know. Jaren Jackson's a tricky one when it comes to these new big men.
For sure, he's definitely one of those ones that, like you said, fits into that category of like,
Like, what's your ceiling, bro? What's
mm-hmm.
your ceiling? But yeah,
Kind of transitioning. We mentioned the Nuggets have been kind of hot.
That's exactly the
No,
game I was going to.
I was gonna say Jokic had a 40, and then Jamal Murray scored 55, which I thought was funny
Eesh.
because SGA just set the record for most points scored by a Canadian, only to get it taken away from Jamal Murray.
ASAP.
Um, which Shay'll get it. Shay'll get it back. He'll
You got the
score
See that
stats from
60.
that
going
game?
back and
Otherwise, I can
forth.
read that off real quick.
No, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead with those.
Okay, so Blazers ended up with 121, Denver 132. Pretty basic stuff there. I mean, it was honestly a game that you kind of saw Denver coming out to win, but Murray, like you said, with 55, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Oh, yeah. And he actually shot 55% from the field and 46%
That's
from
great.
three. So he was a flamethrower all night.
Yeah.
He's
Uh,
one of those randomly gets hot guys where it's like you
Yeah.
almost completely forget about him, and then he's like, check out this historical
Yeah.
night.
Yeah,
Come
I
on,
kind of like
dude.
it. I
the
Like,
kind of like
playoff
it.
performances a couple years ago.
mm-hmm.
But all right,
Bruh.
yeah. Then Joker with 26, 15, and 10, 2 steals. Kind of forced the triple-double there at the end, but I'll give it to him. I mean, it's in the box score, so he has it technically, but it was kind of forced there at the end. I don't know if any of y'all like saw the game or watched that. And then a good
I did
performance
not.
from Christian Braun there with 21 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block out of him. With
He's a nice
also
little six man
yeah,
too.
with also
Yeah, he
55%
is.
shooting and 50% shooting from three. And that's kind of what I wrote down. Despite it being the Blazers and it being good, a great performance from Murray and from Jokic and from Braun. The Nuggets were without some key players here this game. They were without MPJ, Aaron Gordon, Russell Westbrook, Darren Holmes, and Peyton
Mm,
Watson. So, like, 5 guys that would see the floor usually they were completely without, and you saw everybody else just pick up the slack and put the pieces together. And I think that
yeah,
just goes to show how much continuity in a team actually can help you. I mean, so many people love to count the Nuggets out every year for whatever reason, myself included sometimes, but I think I've completely washed that away, and at this point I'm a full Nuggets believer that the Nuggets might take the chip again this year. They look so good.
yeah,
Them not
yeah.
trading MPJ has been beautiful for them because when he is in, he's played great for them. And just keeping
True.
this team the same, keeping the chemistry the same, keeping the locker room the same has worked amazing for them this year. I mean, they look great, and they're one of those teams that, like I was saying earlier in the pod, that it's starting to get to that time of the season where the Nuggets are scary. I wouldn't want to see the Nuggets on
Hmm.
the regular season schedule or in the playoffs or a 7 game series because Jokic is looking crazy. Jamal Murray just dropped 55, and they didn't have 5 of their actual key pieces.
Yeah. Something from the box score that I noticed about that game, they only had 12 turnovers, bench included. That's beautiful basketball. They did
Yeah.
not turn the ball over. They were efficient. And I think as a whole, the Nuggets should be a team everyone should be scared of.
Yeah.
Like you
Hmm.
should not think this team will just be one of those, those hungover championship teams who just dissolve and just become completely horrible. This is not one of that teams.
Mm-mm.
This is a team that wants to win. I think they got their groove back. Like you said, they didn't trade MPJ, which could have like ruffled some feathers, could have caused a lot of drama. They kept their core from when they won a couple years ago, and I think that was probably the best decision that front office made. They didn't sign anyone huge, like they didn't need to. They got Westbrook in the offseason. I think that helped them a lot.
So much. He's been
And
great for them.
I'm just looking at their schedule. I think that this team will finish top 3 in the West. Maybe even yeah, I like this team a lot. They got a lot of experience, a lot of championship DNA. They got Westbrook now coming off that bench whenever he wants to, getting a
Hmm.
triple double. Like I like this team a lot, and I think it'll be scary. It would be
Yeah,
scary.
Jokic is one of those guys that's so consistent that it's like you can never count on Jokic having a bad night. You're pretty sure he's going to go
No.
out there. So the only way to really beat the Nuggets in a 7 game series is to go out there and outperform them 4 times because you can't just
Yeah.
count on them having a bad game. You know they're going to go
No.
out there and put up numbers. They're going to be hard to beat. You're going to have to work super hard 4 times to move on to the next round. And that is yeah, unlike other teams, it's one of those where there's really no variables to it. It's like
Yeah.
you know what you're getting. You have to be Jokic and whoever else is on his team.
And you got to outcoach Mike Malone, which is
That's a good point
not
too.
Yeah.
easy. Which is not easy to do. I don't know. I'm looking at the Grizzlies like I think the Grizzlies and Nuggets. I think the Nuggets 4-1, the Grizzlies 4-1, maybe being nice. Maybe being nice.
Nuggets 4-1 the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I'm
There's
just
also
saying, man.
the altitude in Denver also matters. Like that's a
That
big deal.
matters.
That's a
That
big deal.
matters so
I mean, you
much,
see
bro.
teams like right after the Nuggets went to the finals, you see a bunch of teams being like, we should put in altitude simulators into our training facilities. And some
Forgot
teams
about
already had
that.
this, but like you see, like I know the Heat spent a bunch of money on one after they saw them in the finals, and it's like that really matters that
Hmm.
home court advantage is the Nuggets will forever, or Denver, whoever plays in Denver, will always have home court advantage over everybody else for that reason.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, it
I
is
kind
kind
of
of
like
cool
kinda
though.
dope.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. Mile high, baby.
Anybody got anything else to say about the Nuggets or that performance?
No,
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan had a 40 piece,
Yes, he
scored
did.
42 in OT
Yo.
against the Mavs. So that's cool. I love when DeMar DeRozan shows up.
Yeah,
He's
that step through shot was crazy though.
At the end,
That
you
shit
talking about
was
the one at the
nice.
end?
Like
yeah, like
that's
the
Yeah.
yeah.
winning like floater shot.
Yeah.
Despite I
Bro
love
stepped through.
DeMar, but bro might have missed like 5 shots in a row before that shot. I don't know if y'all like actually saw the game or the
I
highlights,
watched
Hey
that
but
man, but
game
the winning
live.
shot's the only one
I
that
mean, yeah,
matters.
you were right, but
Yeah.
man, it was tough being like,
Yeah.
especially as a Bulls fan and seeing him do such clutch things for like years now for us, like seeing him just miss clutch shot after clutch shot after clutch shot. It's like I was thinking that we were slowly seeing DeMar's like
Yep.
fall. Like I was like, okay, they need to give the ball to Zach like now, and he eventually came
Bro.
through, which was cool. But
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
know, watching that game, I was confused because Zach was definitely corner sitting.
Yeah, he
And
was just
obviously,
chilling the
like,
whole game. He
not
did
his
nothing.
fault. Not his fault. But I was very like, yo, DeMar just took 5 straight shots. What we gonna do?
Yeah,
And then DeMar hits the game winner. Did you see what Kyrie Irving did that game though? He was going off too.
he was going
Um,
crazy.
I'm gonna call Kyrie fourth quarter Kai, bro, because I'm starting to notice like
Honestly, yeah.
halftime he'll have 2 shot attempts and then finish the game with 25 points.
For
I'm
real.
like, yo, Kyrie Irving
Bro, I
is
think the
that
best thing
guy.
from the Luka trade is the fact that Kyrie gets to be the leader of the team.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
his
mean, you
team
want to say
now.
it's AD, but he's out. So like right now, it's like, yeah, Kyrie's the dude. He's facilitating, he's playmaking, he's running the offense. That's that guy. And it is so fun to watch just because
Yeah,
he's such a fun player to watch handle the ball.
Yeah, for real. And you've definitely seen him take that jump in the last like year or two of becoming like a true leader slash vet for teams. And you
hmm
see him like helping Max Christie into the new team and kind of welcoming him in with open arms and being like a good leader to him and everybody else that's still already on the team, just being like a good mentor and leader for that team. So like you said, I think the one good thing that you can take out of the Mavs trading away Luka Doncic is the fact that Kyrie is actually now your lead guy. And the point now in Kyrie's career, you want to be a leader on any team. I mean, that guy, I
yeah,
think any team would welcome in with open arms. I mean, Kyrie's, I think the
yeah,
whole like mantra on Kyrie's changed. Everybody just loves Kyrie and he's just a good guy. That's it.
yep.
Right?
Bro, he was
And
so fun to watch at the All-Star game too.
Oh my gosh, him going up
yeah,
against Wemby, bro, and like
yeah,
he would
Yeah.
piece that
I
up.
love
Oh
that.
god, he should have hit
Great.
that
That was
layup.
great.
Watching
He
that.
He
like
should
diced
have
him
hit
up.
that
He should
layup.
have hit it, bro. But like, yeah, that was one of the
I
loudest
love
moments in the
Kyrie.
game. When he did that, the crowd was like, "Oh!" I
Yeah,
love,
Yeah,
I feel
I
you.
love
yeah.
that.
And Kyrie been through a lot these past couple years, man.
That's why I
And
was
I
like,
always, yeah, I'm
yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
always a
happy that
mean,
Kai
he's just like a
fan.
good
I
vet
love
now.
Kai.
Yeah,
Yeah, just rooting for that
this
dude,
is the
man.
best situation for him since the Cavs, honestly. So
yeah.
that's dope.
Yeah. Can we all agree that he got snubbed strictly because of what happened in Brooklyn? Like, let's just say the
Oh,
past 3 years. He should have been an all-star
It's
the past
politics
three
with Kyrie
seasons.
at this
you're
point.
right.
It's,
Yeah.
it's,
That whole
yeah,
like Brooklyn Nets thing was just super political and it was just a big failure. And it was
yeah,
messy for all three
very
of those
messy.
stars that were there. It kind of put a
Yeah,
dent in their career.
Yeah, if we're being honest, if
yeah,
KD wasn't literally arguably the best scorer of all time ever, nobody else questions asked like KD it. I think he would even have like fell victim to this a little bit because I mean, if we're talking
yeah,
about it honestly, I mean,
He did
Ky-
fall victim to it
yeah, he
though.
kind
that's
of
why I was
did.
like, I mean, but like even hard, like to the level of
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Kyrie just like getting snubbed, Harden
yeah,
like Harden almost fell to like a Carmelo Anthony level where it was like, man, like he almost might not go to a team or like so like
yeah,
it was weird with
yeah.
Harden for a
That was
second.
And it's
weird. That
crazy
was
because
weird.
if it had just worked out, like turn off morale and chemistry on 2K and just put those players there, they would have
hmm
easily taken that
Oh my
championship,
gosh, yeah.
re-signed their deals, and had like a crazy little run for years,
Yeah,
and they'd
man.
still be one of the best teams. But it's just That's why the morale and chemistry thing's in the game, man.
It's
Because
a
it's
real
real.
thing.
It's real life. That
Yeah.
team fell
bro.
apart because they couldn't work together and different things, and it was messy. But
I
one of the
think they play
greatest teams
like
to
16.
never win.
Yeah, but they play like 16 games together in 3 years. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just always like to remind, because obviously I'm a KD fan, so
Yeah.
I feel very heartbroken from that whole team.
But
But
honestly, I'm a big fan of all three of those guys, so it is tough.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
mean,
for real.
I'm
yeah,
not gonna sit here and pretend like this championship banner wouldn't be here if that worked out. So
Yeah, it's all
obviously
because of foot on
happy
the line. You
that the
gotta.
Bucks won the championship, but I'm also willing to say like that team was
uh,
cracked. Like that team
yeah,
was
bro.
nuts. Bro, and even like the game we
That
saw,
is
Harden didn't
sad.
play. So it's like in my memory of seeing that Brooklyn Nets team, Harden was in street clothes on the bench. And that just is really what that team
Sad.
was. Like somebody was in
Disappointing, bro.
street clothes. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was.
Very disappointing, man.
They need to put that team in 2K.
Transitioning off
Yeah.
of that Kings performance, though, we had the Kings versus the Pelicans, who that also went to OT. So much OT this last week, it was crazy.
It
Uh,
was an OT week.
for real,
And yeah, the Kings are one of those teams that are just like, hey, I'm ready. I'm getting it.
for real.
Trade
Yeah.
deadline's over. We're gonna show you what we are, which has
Yeah.
been fun.
But sadly, in this one, the Kings did not actually come out on top. The Kings with 133, and the Pelicans actually come out on top with 140. CJ McCollum with
Mm,
43 points in this game, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and only 2 turnovers. Another
nice.
notable piece from his performance, he only had 6 points in the first half. Ended up scoring 37 points from the second half into the
Yeesh.
overtime. Like, just went off. Like, he said, you know what, I'm taking this game by the horns and I'm putting it to the dirt. Um,
Respect.
and then on the other side, it was honestly really great performances all throughout. Like you were just saying, Michael, like the Kings are looking really good right now. Levine with 32, 2 rebounds and 10 assists with 3 steals. Sabonis with
Nice.
22 points and 28 boards with 5 assists.
Golly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Malik Monk, who's like a beautiful sixth man of the year type candidate every single year, 24
Yeah.
points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, and a block for them. And then DeMar DeRozan with 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. So you got four guys
Nice.
right there with at least 20 points. And CJ said, nah, I'm gonna take this right now. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
another noticeable thing that I wrote down from this that I think so first off, this was CJ's season high performance, of course, scoring 43 after not
Right.
really doing a whole lot so far this year. But
Yeah.
I think he had his season high performance 2 weeks too late. If he would have had this performance 2 weeks ago, I think the Rockets or the Magic would have bit the
He would have
bullet
got
and
traded
he
for
would have
sure.
got
For
traded
sure.
I was
away.
just thinking
For
that.
Yeah, he
sure.
would have gone to one of
For
these
sure.
teams that we've heard rumors about wanting a CJ McCollum or a Bradley Beal, that type
Hmm.
of a mold, because he's kind of in that mold, but he just didn't have that big 43-piece game early enough, I guess.
Bro, as soon as you said he
Yep.
dropped 43, that's exactly where my mind went. I was like, dang, bro's really trapped. Like he really should have done that a couple weeks ago, and somebody would
Yeah.
have been like, you know what? I want CJ McCollum on my team. But
Exactly, because we all know that recency bias is like plays the huge part of
oh yeah, for
trades,
sure.
Yep.
everything.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, Luka got traded. That was a recency bias,
Yeah,
100%.
literally. They were like, yeah,
He
he's
couldn't
gonna
How
even
play a
y'all
go.
lot this year.
He couldn't even think back to the finals.
how y'all feel about this take? DJ McCollum would have been an all-star this year if Ingram got traded in the summer and Zion was for sure, just not playing. Let's keep the Zion situation the same. If Bi was not on that team, I think CJ McCollum would have been all-star caliber player. He's
For
averaging
sure.
All
Because
star
22.5.
caliber is a good take because
Yeah,
standings are gonna definitely
yeah,
get
that
him off
affects
that
you.
team
and
in
That
he's
like
in
a
the
affects
LaMelo
West,
way.
so
Right. So,
yeah.
but
yeah,
yeah, he definitely could have been out there doing stuff like this more consistently, or at least like averaging close to 30, just being the number one guy on that
yeah.
team.
Because we've definitely seen stuff like that from him in the
Yeah,
past. So
Yeah.
that's what my mind goes back to because
He's one of
McCollum
those
is like
guys
that Bill type of guy.
for real,
that
exactly.
he could end up on an expansion team. and be like an
Nah, for
expansion
sure.
team guy.
And get
But
his jersey retired from the expansion team.
our
He
first
can give him
guy,
4 good
CJ
years.
McCollum
4
gonna be
good
the first guy to
years.
get his jersey retired for the Las Vegas Aces.
most points in franchise history after the
Nah,
first game.
Because he
no,
dropped
for
a
real.
30 piece. They're gonna be bouncing back and forth.
Um, but no, you mentioned Bi though. He signed an extension
Bi.
over in Toronto, so that's cool for him.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I don't really
Yeah, the
know how I like
Raptors.
that look. It's gonna be a weird one. That
No,
one's
I was about to say the Raptors are
Yeah.
the new Pelicans now.
Yeah,
Brandon
yeah.
Ingram.
Scotty Barnes and Zion.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
that's
my god, bro,
crazy.
that's too much.
That is
Bro,
too much.
DeJounte Murray is freaking
CJ?
RJ Barrett.
RJ
Oh,
Oh, he's
Barrett.
RJ.
RJ Barrett is
No.
DeJounte Murray.
Yep.
They
Yep.
so like alike, bro. It makes no sense. I don't see that team winning anything anytime soon. I'm not gonna lie. And I like
Yeah.
them all. They all solid guys, man. But I just think Bi, he just likes to get fried and just hoop, bro. I don't think
Honestly,
he
yeah.
care. I don't know if they care about winning, bro. And if they do, like, I just gotta see it. I've never seen Bi win like ever.
BI does
Are
have,
the
yeah, BI
Raptors
does have
are
that very
the
nonchalant play.
You know what I mean, bro? Like he just gets fried and just show up to work. like, like I don't know.
Raptors are the only championship team in the past decade that fell off, really. I mean,
Instantly.
right, like the Cavs fell off and came
hmm
back. The Warriors won a championship since then and still contending. We talked about the Nuggets and the Bucks. Who
Yep.
else won? I think that was it, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's been
Oh,
pretty
the Lakers.
consistent. You
Yeah.
say the Nuggets, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. Nuggets
Yeah, but
still
the
a Nuggets.
Raptors, I mean, that was it. That was their run, and since then they've been. I like to think about the Raptors when I'm feeling sad about the Bucks because I'm like, hey, the
It
Raptors
could
are
be a
doing a lot
lot
worse than
worse.
us,
Yeah.
and
No,
our
seriously.
championships were close enough that it's like we really could be in a Raptors situation right now.
No doubt.
But luckily, Giannis didn't go to LA ASAP after.
After getting
You know teams were taking calls for Giannis, bro.
Bro, they always say that.
Yeah, I think like taking calls don't really mean anything, but just the
Yeah.
fact that they were like not that because the Bucks rejected every single offer or like any call for Giannis, but I do think it's crazy how like teams want. Obviously, every team should want a Giannis, but like the Bucks loyal for not even listening
No,
to
bro, I
any
literally
offer.
talk about this every single week. Like
Like
every team
that's
in
some
the league wants
loyalty.
Giannis so bad, and they're like
Yeah,
constantly waiting for the Bucks to fall apart so that they can get Giannis on their team. And it's so frustrating because it doesn't not happen to a lot of other MVP caliber players.
yeah.
Like it's just
Which
Giannis that they're like
there.
the Bucks are on a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah, I mean, to
Giannis is
even more
going to the
prove your
Mavs.
point that this doesn't happen to other MVP caliber guys, Luka just got traded, and it literally happened under the rug. Like, none of us knew about that. None
Yeah,
of us were like, oh, yeah, teams are approaching the Mavs about Luka.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
every single day I check the Twitter timeline, it's like, oh, the Warriors are interested in Giannis. Oh, the Heat are interested in Giannis. Oh,
Every
looks like the
day.
Jazz are
Bulls.
interested
And
in
bro,
Giannis.
all they have to do is lose a game too. It's not even like they have to have a bad season. Like they literally have to have a bad week. And people will start being like, Giannis is going to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Bro, that whole first stretch of the Bucks season, you saw so many graphics of Giannis to the Bulls, Giannis to the
They had me
Warriors.
convinced, man. They had me
Yeah,
convinced.
for sure.
I was
Those
like
graphics be looking so
getting
real,
ready to
bro.
part ways.
Get centered. Central.
For real.
The only other thing I got from the week is Kevin Durant scored or got to the 30K club, 8th player in NBA history to score 30,000 points in his career.
Yeah,
So
for real. Like I said earlier, arguably like the best scorer of
Yeah.
all time. I mean, the dude
Right.
is just unstoppable, untouchable, a 7-foot icon. Like
Right,
the
we
dude
knew it
can
was
hit
coming.
everywhere. Like
Yeah, we knew it
Yeah.
was coming, but it's
Yep,
definitely
yep, yep.
exciting to see it happen.
Eighth,
And just be
eighth
able
all
to be
time,
like,
man.
yeah,
I
we gotta
got
keep climbing too.
I do have one
Yeah.
more game though, written down from the 13th.
Okay.
That also went to OT. Clippers versus Jazz, where Norman Powell
Clippers,
scored
Jazz.
41 points and got 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and Harden got 32 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks.
How
Despite the
many turnovers did Harden have? Sorry.
Harden had 3 turnovers that game. Both guys that I just
Efficient.
mentioned had 3 turnovers. Yeah, no, very efficient for filling up the whole entire stat sheet, even defensively.
Mm-hmm.
And despite the Jazz having 6 guys in double digits, I mean, they didn't really have any like star performances that game, but they definitely played like good team ball. And this is the type of game that makes me feel like this ragtag Clippers team, as long as they can get Kawhi to commit to playing in the playoffs, this could be a
Right.
championship team. I
Yeah, they're definitely
genuinely
super good.
believe that
I
they are
respect
a
that
dark
take.
horse because they were down by 20 at one point this game, very early on, and they just kept chipping away at the lead, and then by the time it was the fourth quarter, they took the lead and they never really let
Yeah.
go, and they ended up winning by 4. And
Yeah, and Harden's still top 5 playmakers in the league. Maybe even top 3. Not
no,
gonna
Yeah.
lie.
right, yeah, he's crazy out
Yeah.
there the way he controls an
Can I
offense.
hear three people in that combo? Like
Trey
who else
Young
is in
is the
that
first
combo?
guy I think of.
Facilitator,
Yeah,
playmaker.
obviously Jokic. I'm
I
gonna
was
say
gonna
Jokic
say, you
has got to
gotta
be the
put
best
Jokic.
playmaker.
And then Harden.
Then Harden, yeah. And then
Okay.
like I say 5 because there could be like Luka or like some other people
Yeah.
that you're
I would
like
say
they could
Luka's
be
in
there.
that combo.
That's who I was
Luka's
gonna
in-
say. Luka's a hard one to. I feel like that's like tied for me with Harden because maybe Luka might not have
Right.
the
Yeah.
counting stats, but in my opinion, Luka has at this point probably better IQ, like playmaking wise, and just
It's super similar to Jokic, the way
right.
that they
But
like
Yeah, it
control the
is.
floor.
right,
Yep,
but
yep,
I
yep.
feel like Harden gets the better counting stats, like assists wise.
Yeah.
Like Harden's gonna get
For
10
sure.
assists more times than
Yeah,
Luka is,
that's his
but I
game.
feel like
That's his
Luka
game.
might be better actually up here. So that
Yeah.
so in that sense they
I
almost
can agree
even
with that.
out.
The reason
would
I'd put
agree.
Harden above Luka is because I think Harden is like a go-to playmaker as to Luka's like your go-to point getter. But I think
Who just
Harden,
also
Jokic,
happens to be really good at playmaking. I can hear that.
right? But like Harden, Jokic, and Trey Young. Trey Young's kind of like a point getter, but their main goal is to facilitate and get
Yeah.
assists. Really,
Especially at this point in Harden's career, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of
Yeah.
taken a dip down from that whole like I'm scoring 35 every single night. So
Yep,
for sure,
yep.
while he has nights like that, can dish it off to Norman Powell, and he can score 41 on a night like this and go off in OT and win the game. So
Yeah, I think we can't talk about playmakers without mentioning LeBron.
yeah, I was gonna
LeBron-
say
I didn't mention
This
LeBron.
is a
just
playmaking
because-
season. If you look at the
Yeah.
numbers, like he's
No,
passing
yeah,
more
he's
than he's
definitely.
shooting.
He honestly is also like Jokic and Luka in the sense of like
Yeah,
he's
that's
just
what my
above
head
people
was.
with IQ and he can control the whole game. Like he knows certain movements that he makes that are going to get other people to do things. Like he knows so
Mhm.
much and can predict what people are going to do that alone, his IQ is on another level.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
But
LeBron could be 50 years old and be in a wheelchair, and he'll still probably be a top 5 passer for me. I won't lie.
Yeah.
Just based on
Isn't
my
that
IQ
better
alone, I'm
than
like, that dude
anybody in
could
the
throw
league?
me a solid chest pass
Right.
right now.
Isn't that so crazy? Like it's so nuts, bro.
and that's like you see that in soccer a lot. Like as long as you it doesn't really matter how old you are, as long as you have that playmaking IQ where you can kind of like set your teammates up, you know how and when to pass the ball. You
Yeah,
can really hang for as old as you
Yeah.
get. You can be there setting other people up to do the athletic things that you used to be able to do.
LeBron's just like the Iniesta, Xavi of.
I was thinking of Iniesta.
Yeah,
the whole
I knew
time,
you were
bro.
thinking some
Because he
center
was
mids
so
from
old,
Barcelona.
but he was still like the best on his team. Maybe
For
not the
real.
best on his team,
I
but
mean,
That's
he was
pretty
up there,
cool.
though. Yeah, I hear
it's hard to be better than Messi though.
Yeah. You
But
could go like
anyways,
though.
Modric because like he ended up winning the Ballon d'Or like way later into his career
Yeah.
with Real. So
But yeah, I see that in LeBron a lot. As like he gets older, he gets more in that like I'm gonna slow it down and control this at an old man pace.
Nah, that's exactly what he's doing.
yeah,
bro.
no doubt.
And then he still
That's-
yams it. But anyways,
Yeah, I mean, still 6'7".
nobody ordered donuts,
6'9".
so don't got to get too hard into that.
LeBron James, bro. That's probably the most I love LeBron like ever in my life.
I think a lot of
That's
people
it.
are in that phase.
That's kind
He's
of
really out
that's
of
kind
the
of
like
bold
whole
to hear
villain
from you,
era.
knowing that you be hating on
No,
LeBron
I
so
know.
much. I've heard
Trust
you
me,
say
bro.
some
Like, do
shit
you know
about
what?
LeBron in the group chat.
From a person who obviously Chicago Bulls fan that hard, what he, Cole, you know too, Michael, what he used to do to us.
Oh
was
yeah.
insane.
Man, I
Like,
remember being so
No.
excited for that game winner that D-Rose hit when he did the no look, and then next game, LeBron said, "I bet I'll do it from the corner," and fucking hit a game winner on us. I
the
remember
turnaround.
literally like probably promising myself that I would never, ever, ever cheer for LeBron and that I would
Oh yeah,
commit the
bro.
rest of my life
Miami
to
LeBron
hating
is like
LeBron.
the worst person
Bro,
in the world. Like
Yes,
we
like
hated
an
Miami
evil
LeBron.
villain.
And then, bro, as such a big Curry fan, I hated Cavs LeBron too. I was like,
He was even better.
yes,
Caps
bro.
was low key scarier.
And then,
Not
you
gonna
know,
lie.
he went over to the Lakers, and then I still was like, that was when it was like Giannis and LeBron were fighting for MVP that one season.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I still was kind of like LeBron's nothing, but the more time goes on, the more people are getting to the point where it's like we gotta respect this man and give him his love because this is truly one of the greatest players ever, and we
Yes.
need to appreciate that he is playing basketball still for us, and we can witness that
At
right now.
40 years old,
Yep.
at an elite
Right.
That's where my
level.
head is.
Like
But
he's not just like a B level star. He's still an A level star at 40.
And that also goes to show, again, not to super glaze, but that also goes to show that you can be the biggest villain in the league and still come back and be like the most loved player in the league is just like a whole nother testament to the fact that you're such a
Mhm.
great player.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I don't really got anything about the past week. Ready for a little break.
I was gonna say I think it's break time.
Take a little break. When we get back, we'll be ready to talk about the All-Star game. We actually last night before the All-Star game started, the three of us picked three players from each
Yeah.
team to be our MVP. So we'll kind of talk about why we thought they were going to be MVP, see if any of us were right, and talk about the game. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, back from our break. So we're just gonna have a little short talk about the All-Star today, because we kind of took a long break. Life kind of got in the way. We got to talking about some homie stuff. So getting into the All-Star, we had all picked an MVP for each team. So like I picked Steph for the OGs, Wemby for the world team, and then I picked Cade for the Rising Stars young team if they had made it.
And then I had Curry, Shea, and Ant, but Ant didn't even play. So
So sad that Ant didn't play, by the way,
yeah,
because I really thought he was coming for that.
I kind of thought
So
so
for
too.
my three, I had Karl Anthony Towns, Kyrie, or also Ant. And yeah, we saw how that went. We
Yeah,
saw how that
Yeah,
went.
so to kind of talk, so the winning team was the OGs. So we had Steph,
Yep.
and Kyrie. And I think those were good picks because obviously
Yeah.
Steph did get the MVP. He had some dagger threes. He had like a half quarter, which came right. It was like in response to
Yeah.
Trey trying to
Yeah.
shoot a deep
it
one.
was super fun.
Yeah, so that was fun. And Kyrie,
Crazy.
like we had mentioned during our break, Kyrie had energy that was just really like what you want to see at an all-star game. And he really was there playing defense, getting steals, and that
Mhm.
was fun too.
Yeah, had 2 steals
Yeah.
in each game, playing great defense throughout the night. So that was definitely super fun to see.
As well as SGA was a good pick for you because even though they didn't end up winning, he had 12 in the first game. And so he's the MVP of the first game.
Right, definitely
That's
looked like
fine.
he might take it.
Yo,
Right.
SGA was cooking.
Right.
It
And
looked
then
nasty.
Wemby kind of went off in the second game too. So that was cool.
Yeah. We can
Um,
also say Wemby went off in that first one too, because he
yeah,
got
he
Wemby
definitely
just
he
had a
got some
great weekend
buckets.
all around for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like young bull coming out his wings, man. I
Yes,
like
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
But
I
yeah.
love
So
it.
when they first released this like new all-star format, people had their doubts about it, and you can only do your best and kind of wait it out. So one day after it happened, what do we think?
I'm here with it.
Okay, 50-50 with it.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
actually
I'm
bring it
around
there, bro.
there.
Bring it
okay.
there.
It was
Okay.
just the fact that they only played 33 minutes of basketball and over 3 hours of airtime.
Yeah.
That's so
that
insane to
that
think
sucked.
about, bro.
Yeah.
I felt like going to 40 was way too short. I think like if you got 8 NBA players on your team, 40 points is 20 layups if you just want to go by twos, bro. And like I don't know. I just think it was way too short. And I think that defensively, everyone got easy baskets, just driving to the rim and catching the defense losing, which is bound to happen in the All-Star game. I think that 8 players on one team was maybe too much, or you just bring the score up more, like 50 or 60, so we can actually
Right.
watch quality buckets.
The only issue is if you bring the score up too high, then it's guys are playing really long amount of times, and I think that's
Yeah.
they're trying to avoid
I,
injury or whatever. But I think the tournament style just was a bad idea.
yeah, I think the saddest part of it all was that like you could tell that certain teams didn't care, and then like the Rising Star team actually showed a lot more of a fight against that OG team than I thought
Yeah,
they would, and they did pretty decent.
bro.
But you could
I
tell
love
that the
that.
OG team come that second day that second game was the only team that actually cared. Like
right.
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
world
like
team
sure.
Jokic
didn't.
wasn't really doing anything,
No.
you know.
Yeah.
Bro
But
was
yeah,
just passing.
Right. So.
yeah. So maybe it wasn't the best format. A lot of people want them to just go back to East and West, which I think is fair.
Mm.
They've been
I
talking
like
about
East and West.
US versus world maybe in the
I
future.
like that
You
one.
can't really do that now. I think that's why. Like you could put all the
That could be fire.
all stars that are not US on one team, but you'd still have to put some US players on that team with them.
It's true.
So I don't think we're quite there yet.
You don't think
Uh,
they can form like a full team with just like
Because
well, they
maybe
if they're
could,
then
but
the
like,
it
All
wouldn't be
Stars,
all stars.
but
Like the
maybe then
oh
snubs
yeah,
would
that's
be
what I
crazy.
mean. That's what I
but
mean.
maybe
Just
the All
like
Star
six
like
men.
format would change then at that point, and it would just be you have to choose this many Americans and this many world players. Because at that point, I mean, you would really have to like. Because I hear you, you would almost
Yeah,
have to change up a lot to be able to
yeah,
get that to
Yeah.
work because of the fact that there isn't enough on each
yep,
side.
But we're not that
yeah,
far away from it being enough on each side though.
for
No.
So
sure.
especially when
Like,
you consider the fact that the best American players, no offense to the young guys, but the best US players are closer to retirement than they are to their draft
yep,
day.
for
Yeah.
So
sure.
it'll be
Yeah, I mean, Canada alone has like a starting five.
They
Like,
yeah.
really do.
Canada's a
like
pretty good team.
You just combine
so,
Canada and France, and that's like an NBA
like
championship team right there.
And they all
Europe.
speak French.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo.
like
But I really liked when they drafted teams, when like the all-star captains would draft the teams. I liked that.
yeah,
I
I
kind
like the
of
old way.
hope they go back to that.
Yeah, that was sick. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And then you kind of see who kind of like they pick last. That's always funny who gets picked last
Yeah.
There's
because
always
like
some like
this,
running joke about it too. It's always like somebody's rival or something.
yeah,
Where I
like
remember
how
when like
Giannis didn't pick.
LeBron was hiding him laughing because KD didn't pick
That's
up Harden.
exactly what I was thinking about. I was
Like,
like,
yeah,
man.
like and those are memorable moments, you know. So
Yo,
yeah, I hope we do go back to a draft that's more. You know, I don't really care
yeah,
who Shaq wants on his team, especially if they're gonna rig
nah,
it.
Yeah, especially if they're just
Shaq
gonna
hates
fix the
everyone.
draft like they did. Like, come on now.
Yeah,
That was the fakest
Yeah,
draft
bro.
ever.
Like, come
but
on.
yeah. But yeah, Matt got his 3P. Tyler Hero won the 3-point contest. The
Cavs got the
Spurs,
skills competition. Just,
yeah, the
Yep,
Cavs
yep.
got it because the Spurs did not shoot their threes. They just tossed the ball
they were just
and they got
cheating.
eliminated.
Castle with the
Um,
Rising Stars MVP.
Yep.
yeah,
Castle looked good all weekend,
and some
honestly.
good
Castle looked
dunks in the
nice.
dunk contest.
Yeah.
Solid. Yeah, he
So
got bounce. He got bounce.
right,
Yeah, and Max dunks were every single one of them were 50s, and they deserved it. Like they were,
My God.
yeah. Dude is different. Also, it's sad to
Yeah.
hear that this is going to be his last dunk contest. As much as I respect it,
Oh, did he say that?
I heard he said that. I'm not sure if it was completely true,
Jeez.
but that's what I
but
heard.
he's driven interest in
Wow.
the dunk contest for other NBA players. So I think we might see some more dunkers like Ja or maybe even Ant in there.
Right,
I
Levine
don't know if
back
you
in
guys
it.
saw
AG.
Giannis had tweeted at Ja's tweet. He was like, "If you do it, I'll do it." But it wasn't real. That
Oh,
was Giannis's kid.
Uh,
Giannis was said in an interview. He's like, "Yeah, my kid went and took the phone off the charger while I was sleeping and went on Twitter."
bro, Giannis be lying.
he
Bro.
be lying. Yeah, no way, no way.
I think Giannis just a jokester, so
He
I
is
feel
such
it
a
though.
jokester.
I would joke too if I
Yeah.
was in his
He
position.
did the thing. You remember a couple years ago when he was trying to take free throws and then he like pushed over the ladder after the game.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He like
yeah,
went
yeah,
up to a
yeah.
ladder at the All-Star game the other night on Saturday and like went up to the ladder like whoa, like he was gonna fight the ladder. And it's just like that's such a
Yeah,
funny
bro.
guy to be able to even joke about yourself when you're mad.
Yeah,
I
especially
like
in that
Giannis,
moment,
bro.
because that moment was like low key the only like angry bad moment we've ever seen from Giannis. Like he straight up yeeted
Giannis
that
could,
ladder.
yeah,
He said,
Right.
"Peace
And like
out."
we love Giannis, but when he gets really pissed off, he does do some
he
very
gets mad.
unreasonable things that's like,
Yeah,
dude, you're gonna
He
push over
gets
a
for
ladder?
he
sure,
gets
Or
very
like,
emotional,
for
no
sure,
doubt.
right.
for sure. He got that Mamba
Um,
attitude in
oh
him.
yeah. But I always love when he comes back and jokes about it too. Cause he's like, at the
Yeah,
end of the day, he's a human being and he knows it. So he's never like
yeah,
stressed when he messes up like that.
Yo,
yeah,
So
bro. He's a human being. I like this because, like, at the end of the day, these are just people with emotion, and it happens,
right.
bro. It happens.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's what we got to
You're
talk about today. Yeah, so be sure to do your likes and subscribes and all those things. Check us out on our socials. Tell your
yes,
friends.
sir.
We're talking about basketball. If you want to learn about
Yeah,
basketball,
man.
we will talk about it here and we will talk about it deep. Too deep
Tell your
sometimes.
friends to tell a friend,
Tell a friend
to
to
tell
tell
a
a friend to
friend,
tell a friend to tell a
to
friend.
tell a friend, to tell a
Exactly,
friend.
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Share it everywhere.
Yeah, this was my first pod, so I'm definitely happy to doing this. And like whoever's watching this, just know we really get into this. We love basketball. We love hoops,
Oh
man.
yeah,
We
this is
love
this is
hoops.
gonna be going for man weeks and weeks and
Yeah.
weeks and weeks and weeks to come. Like there ain't no
Yeah.
stop to all of our basketball knowledge. It's just gonna keep going. So
We're gonna
We
keep
keep
doing it
moving
till the
on.
NBA stops playing basketball.
type shit, yeah, for real.
We're going until Wemby is
I
retired.
would like to see us even talk about the Euro League in the future too.
Oh
Like
yeah,
Yo,
maybe
that could
more
be
like
fun.
different
worldwide
different
That could be
basketball.
fun.
sports. Like come
Right.
on
That
now,
could be
yeah,
fun.
we got
Mhm.
opportunities with this.
Lots of content coming, baby.
Yeah.
Lots of content coming.
Let us know what you want us to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about
For
that
sure.
sometime because we
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely love to talk.
no doubt.
Got some yappers. The yappers.
Yeah. All right, we love you guys so much, and we will see y'all
Peace
next
out.
week.
Peace out, everybody.